My parents made a public announcement that they were moving into my place, having sold their home to bankroll my sister's extravagant wedding. "You'll let us stay, right?" They beamed. Naturally, I agreed. They had no clue I was already aware of their plan. When they showed up, I was ready. I was on my lunch break, munching a tasteless chicken wrap in the office lounge, when my phone started buzzing relentlessly. At first, I figured it was the group chat blowing up again, probably Lily flaunting her wedding gown or whining about her fiancé's family. But when I glanced at my screen, it wasn't just a couple of messages. It was a flood. 12 notifications, 4 missed calls, and 2 Instagram tags. My stomach sank, not from fear, but from that familiar sense of family drama brewing. Sure enough, there it was. My mom had shared a picture of her and Dad posing in front of a glaring, "Sold" sign with a caption that hit like a gut punch. "We've let go of our house and are embarking on a fresh start. Moving in with our amazing daughter, Sarah. Thank you for opening your home, darling. Now we can fund Lily's dream wedding." My name was tagged along with Lily's, and my inbox was overflowing with messages like, "You're such a great daughter," and "Family always comes first." Except one glaring issue. They never asked me, not a single discussion, not a hint, not even a casual mention of their plan to relocate to my house. Just a bold social media post, a decision already set in stone, my name attached to make it seem like I'd graciously agreed. I was expected to play along, smiling politely. I stared at my phone, dumbfounded, as if it had sprouted wings. To top it off, when I checked Lily's Instagram, she'd reposted the announcement with heart emojis and confetti, captioning it, "Everything's falling into place. Big sis saves the day again." Again. Like when I covered her rent after her second failed startup. Or when she totaled my car and stuck me with the repair costs. Apparently, I was now hosting 2 grown adults who'd poured their life savings into Lily's fairy tale wedding, assuming my home was their fallback that night. I sat quietly, sipping wine, torn between rage and bone-deep exhaustion. You'd think this was unlike them, but it wasn't. I've always been their safety net, the reliable one, the daughter who juggled jobs through college while Lily jetted off to wellness retreats in Bali for self-discovery. The one who bought a house, cleared her debts, and never asked for help. Because of that, I became the go-to fixer, the invisible anchor. The more capable I was, the less they saw me. I didn't reply to the post. I didn't call or text. I waited. 2 days later, Mom finally called. "Sarah, sweetie," she chirped. "Did you see our big news? Isn't it thrilling?" I let her ramble. She gushed about how liberating it was to sell the house, how proud they were of Lily's engagement, and how this would be a great chance for us to grow closer. I cut in, voice steady. "So when were you planning to ask if you could move in?" Silence. Then a nervous laugh like I'd made a tasteless joke. "Oh, honey, we knew you'd be fine with it. You've got that spare room and you're always so together." Together? I wasn't ready for 2 retirees and their clutter. I wasn't ready for my grocery costs to skyrocket, my utility bills to surge, or my personal space to vanish while Lily pranced around in silk and pearls. But I stayed quiet. For now, instead, I forced a smile through the phone. "Sure, Mom, of course." I wasn't going to confront them yet. I wanted to understand the full scope of their scheme, so I did some digging. I reached out to a friend in real estate, and after some back and forth, she pulled the sale records. Turns out they didn't just sell the house. They sold it far below market value to a friend of Lily's fiancé. And here's the kicker. The deal included an off-the-books agreement that the buyer would gift Lily a beachfront condo for her honeymoon as a thank you for the discounto and Lily. She wasn't planning to crash at my place, but I was already listed as their new mailing address. They were so confident I'd agree that they'd started redirecting their lives to my doorstep without a word. I could have said no right then, drawn a hard line. But something in me shifted, not broke, but realigned. I didn't just want to refuse. I wanted them to face the consequences of their actions, so I waited. They arrived one Saturday morning, right on schedule. Mom rolled in with a flashy blue suitcase, Dad sporting a baseball cap like he was off to a resort. Lily, nowhere to be seen, too busy with last-minute veil fittings. Mom waltzed into my home like it was hers. "This kitchen is so cozy," she said, despite never having visited before. They settled in fast. Dad asked for the Wi-Fi code. Mom rearranged my throw pillows. No questions, no gratitude, just the assumption that this was always the plan. That evening, as they lounged on my sofa sipping chamomile tea and watching reruns, I sat across from them with a binder. "What's this?" Dad asked, flipping it open. Inside was a month-to-month rental contract, complete with rent, a security deposit, and shared utility costs, all legally vetted. plus a formal notice stating I'd never agreed to be their official residence. Mom blinked. "You're charging us rent?" I smiled gently. "Of course, you sold your house. You've got the funds, right?" Dad's face hardened. "That's not how family works." I leaned forward. "Then maybe you shouldn't have treated me like a landlord without asking." For the first time in years, they were speechless. That moment crystallized it for me. This wasn't about the wedding or housing. It was about entitlement, the assumption that I owed them everything just because I was dependable, because I never made waves. The air was heavy after I handed them the binder. Dad stared at the contract, his jaw tight. Mom looked like I'd betrayed her. I held my ground. My entire adult life, I'd quietly sacrificed, letting things slide, biting my tongue when their words hurt, stepping up when they didn't. Every time I stayed silent, they took more. Not this time. Mom finally spoke, her voice shaky. "You're really making us sign this?" I stayed calm. "You don't have to. You're free to leave. I'll even pay for a hotel for a week if you need time to sort it out. But if you stay, you contribute." Dad set the binder down like it was toxic. "We're your parents, Sarah, not some random tenants." I took a deep breath. "Exactly. You're my parents, not roommates, not freeloaders, and not people I trust without question anymore." They didn't sign that night. They retreated to the guest room in silence, and I stayed up, pacing with a mug of tea, wondering if I'd pushed too far. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized I hadn't pushed far enough. Over the next 2 days, the house felt like a pressure cooker. They still used my kitchen, left their coats by the door, but the vibe had shifted. They knew I was holding them accountable, not out of malice, but necessity. On the 3rd day, I came home from work to an empty guest room. Drawers cleared, bed neatly made, no trace of them. No note, no goodbye, just gone. I sent one text. "Did you leave? Are you okay?" No reply. An hour later, I saw Lily's Instagram story. My parents were now at a luxury hotel suite downtown, courtesy of the world's kindest bride. The caption: "Had to rescue Mom and Dad from toxic vibes. They deserve calm before my big day. Blessed." So I was the bad guy. Again, I didn't respond, didn't engage with Lily's shady posts about fake family and bitter energy. I moved forward. Until the wedding venue called. Apparently, Lily had listed me as the emergency financial contact on the event insurance. I nearly spilled my tea. When I asked for the paperwork, the manager emailed it over. There it was. My name, my forged signature, my address, and me listed as liable for any event mishaps or damages. My pulse raced. I called the venue, posing as Lily's assistant. The staff confirmed she'd submitted the forms herself, including a copy of my ID, likely swiped from my files during her last visit. That was the final straw. The next morning, I called a lawyer, sharp, no nonsense, and alarmed. "If anything goes wrong at this wedding, you could be personally sued," she warned. "I know," I said. "That's why we're stopping this now." We filed a report: fraud, identity theft, forgery. I provided the screenshots, the contract, the social media posts, and the texts. We sent a legal notice to the venue, clarifying I had no ties to the event and wouldn't be responsible for any costs. We sent a copy to Lily. Within 24 hours, she called, the first time in months. "You're unbelievable, Sarah, trying to sabotage my perfect day." I kept my voice even. "No, you did that when you forged my signature." She tried to brush it off, calling me overdramatic. "You act like you're some martyr. You've got your perfect house, your steady job. No one cares about your boring life. You should be thrilled we gave you something to do." I hung up a week later. The wedding happened, barely. The venue bumped them to a smaller outdoor area after the contract was flagged. The live band canceled over unpaid deposits. A florist pulled out. A vendor's post went viral, cautioning others about a bride with champagne taste and no budget. My parents? They were there, smiling in photos, acting like everything was fine. Then a cousin who knew one of the vendors messaged me. Several payments had bounced, and Lily was under scrutiny for fraud, having used a fake family business name with a non-existent LLC. My parents were tangled in it too, since their names were on some checks. The consequences were catching up. Weeks passed. I didn't reach out. I focused on my job, my friends, my calm. Then one day I found a handwritten note in my mailbox from Mom. It was brief, almost curt. "Sarah, we messed up. About you, about everything. We didn't realize until it was too late. We don't expect you to forgive us, but we're sorry. Love, Mom and Dad." I didn't cry or smile. I just sat with the words. They say family love is unconditional, but when it's one-sided, manipulative, and laced with guilt, it's not love anymore. I wasn't the bad daughter for setting boundaries. I was the first to say enough now. I live in a quiet home. Alone, but not lonely. No unannounced guests, no freeloaders, no hidden expectations behind forced smiles. Just me learning that guarding your peace isn't selfish, it's essential.